It's an exciting Tuesday afternoon. We are here once again to take a look at issues as it affects you and I globally on International Forum. My name is Wilson Marshall. Like we used to do, we'll go across the globe, bringing you news, making the round. The first part of call is what is happening in New Zealand. Talking about the White Island, where there was a volcanic eruption. It was massive. Mind you, the White Island is a private resort, all right, used by tourists just to go see active volcano, okay? But this time around it went out of control. It's like Mother Earth is reacting, and there was a massive volcanic eruption, and it was reported that 5 persons died instantly. Yeah, those who were rescued with 7 degrees of injuries, according to doctors, those ones rescued may not be able to make it. And the remaining 8 that were left behind, there are no signs of life. They're presumably dead, unless if by a miracle they survived it. Well, the New Zealand authority, talking about the government of the day, they are saying that there's more to meet the eye in what really transpired in New Zealand, and they're investigating. After all, a volcanic eruption will not just erupt without giving warning. So what were those 50 persons or people doing in White Island when the volcanic eruption started? That is a huge question. We're doing no signs, as in no tremor, nothing to tell that that place is dangerous to be at a particular point in time. And they're going to ask the owner or the private owner of the White Island, talking about the tourist resort, so he can provide answers to the questions within the heart of New Zealand, because they are like so angry, saying that this is not supposed to happen, because this is a modern era. Before a seismic event occurs, there must be telltale signs. How come they missed it? What really went wrong? Now that's the inquiry. Talking about the Prime Minister of New Zealand, Jacinda Ardern, really talking tough, saying they must get to the bottom of this, and the people that were punished must be punished, definitely. Right now, let's move straight down to what is happening in Sydney, Australia, where we get to see massive bushfire causing havoc in town. You know, Sydney, very bright, clean water, clean body of ocean, but right now, because of this bushfire, it's now murky. Now, when you talk about flames, when you talk about smoke, when you talk about inferno, modern houses, they do have smoke detectors, and this is making the smoke detectors, fire detectors, to react instantaneously, thereby causing chaos and panic. When the bell goes off, whether you're seeing it or not, you have to just start moving. And because of the detector bringing out so much noise, warning people of impending doom, when we talk about fire that is just raising maliciously across the forest of Australia, it's time for many of them to relocate, and that is what they've been doing. They're still doing it right now. Many of them, they relocated, but they're trying to bring the fire under control. How long will this last? I don't know, but it's there and it's happening. Firefighters are fighting. They're trying to curtail the damage that will be caused by this bushfire to, once upon a time, a beautiful city known as Sydney. You should see that sight. It's truly a wonderful sight. But those clean water I used to know Sydney for is now covered with murky ash, and you just name it. Anyway, we know that in time they put the fire under control. Finally, let's get straight down to what is happening in Myanmar, where Aung San Suu Kyi is like in the hot seat. Yes, you know, in Myanmar, thousands of Rohingya Muslims were killed. Some of them, many of them, millions of them were chased out of their habitation, so to speak, because in Myanmar, mainly Buddhists, they say they don't want Rohingya Muslim to be in that area, and that led to what they call genocide. Though Aung San Suu Kyi, a foremost political fighter, a foremost political activist, she won the Nobel Prize for Peace. You just name it. This is your country. What have you done about it? What did you do about it? And this has started since 2017, when ISIS was at its peak. Maybe, just maybe, this will reacted to the, you know, the fright or the fear of ISIS, not knowing that we have many peaceful, loving Muslims here. But right now, they took the wrong step by chasing them out of their own home or settlement. And Turkey reacted negatively to it. But right now, Arsene King is being called to question to answer so many things that really transpired that led to the lives or to the loss of life of thousands of Muslims. Yes, Rohingya Muslim. Let's see what will be her own line of defense. Will the prize given to her be revoked? We don't know. Let's go to see what is going to happen in The Hague, because it's been summoned, subpoenaed to come to The Hague to answer for the crimes against humanity, especially Rohingya Muslims. Right now, we'll go on a break. When we return, we're taking a look at what just transpired in Finland. 34-year-old becoming new prime minister, youngest so far globally. Can Africa learn from this? Or can the world learn from this? We'll be right back. Do stay tuned.
A child is born. His name is Jesus.
He's more precious than gold.
Jesus is more than gold.
He deserves to be celebrated. Are you a Christian? ITV Radio is organizing a show tagged Christmas Igbadu. Come celebrate Jesus with when coming. There shall be lots of fun with DJ Ultimate, different artists, cartoon characters, games garden, and other side attractions. Competitions include
I Know My Parents,
football,
color match, balloon busting, skip and race,
etc., with fantastic prizes. Wow!
Father of the Day, Bishop Dr. Okudigie Osayuki Charles, General Overseer, Anointed Brethren Church International Incorporated, and Administrator, SETA International School, GRA, Benin City.
Day, Wednesday, 25th December 2019. Time, 10 a.m. Venue, ITV Radio Corporate Office, Glass House, Airport Road, Benin City. Gate fee, 500 naira per person.
This program is partly sponsored by KC Devices Phone Shop, sales of phones, laptops, CCTV cameras, inverters, accessories, and gadgets. Number 68 Airport Road, opposite FIROS, before Akenswo Junction, and Shop 68 Bob Israel Complex, opposite Oba Market, Benin City. Telephone 0803-6408-268. And supported by Builders Inn, the Builders Mart for Tires, Cement, Sanitary, Doors and Roofs. 10 Sokomba Road, 19 and 32 Cook Road, Benin City. Omoregi Cyril, CEO, The Prince Builders and Construction Limited, 4 Etete Road, off Upper Desua Road, GRA, Benin City. Destiny Hotel and Suites, a home of comfort and relaxation. Number 8 Isibo Street, off Plymouth and Stadium Road, Benin City. Holloway Sports Shop for fitness and general sports equipment. Number 10 and 16 Stadium Road, Benin City.
Obodo Guest House for your lodging, accommodation, and event center. Number 7 Ajayi Street, off Ayeye Street, off Wasota Road, Ugbawa, Benin City.
Apostle Dr. Dixon Ehigiato, Agmawanite, AMNIN, FCAI, General Overseer, Christ Mission Ministries, off Nomayo Street, Upper Sumbomba Road, Benin City.
Christmas Igbadu! Igbadu Ragbada!
Obodo!
Thank you so much for staying tuned. It's all about what just transpired in Finland, where a 34-year-old lady, Sana came out to become the prime minister. And this lady didn't just jump into politics. She started from a very tender age, started from the lowest point, lowest rank in political office, and she grew up in the ranks, and now she's now a prime minister, almost an equivalent of a president here in some system of government, and she's one leading and she's just 34-year-old. Lessons to be learned from this, and how is it going to reshape the politics of Finland? What should other countries globally learn from this country? Keep hearing the youths are the leaders of tomorrow. Well, when it comes to Finland, it's absolutely true. What about other climes? Is it true? Anyway, analysts will throw more light on this. With me here in the studio, I have a lecturer from the University of Benin. Join me to welcome, I want to call him Comrade, like, no, I'm just a lecturer. Comrade Felix Osaime, welcome to the show, sir.
Good afternoon.
I appreciate your comment.
Thank you very much.
All right. I said very close to him.
Good afternoon, everybody.
All right. I said very close to him is Williams Uwaifo, political analyst, political affairs commentator. Williams, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Wilson. Good afternoon, viewers.
Here we are. The unthinkable in some climb happened yesterday in Finland, and the world was like, wow. You get to see men in their 40s, some 50s, some in their 60s, going for the first time for that position of a prime minister. But here we are, having a young lady, aged 34, leading a whole lot of ministers as the #1 minister in Finland. How do you really feel about this? Let me start off from you. Yeah.
Well, the response is interesting. That it made global news, sincerely. Even most of the mainstream news channels, they picked up that matter yesterday, and it has been trending. A 34-year-old Sanna Marin of Finland. She was a transport minister, and with the stepping down of the prime minister over the issue of postal workers that were on strike, she has been picked now to become the prime minister. She's just 34. So it's news because her age is the lowest at the point where we look at all prime ministers. She is even a year younger than the person in Ukraine, who is 35. So it's made global news. And on the second note, she's a female. So these 2 points came up, and we are looking at Europe today. Europe is going populist again. The conservative elements are making a very strong show, the nationalists. Yet this is out of the closet. Nobody expected a young lady to just come from nowhere and become the prime minister. But we cannot run away from one fact. Finland is a very developed country. The education system is one of the best in the world. And the issue of gender equality in that climb is well known. Women and men are treated equally. They do not pretend. There's no pretense to it. It is a fact of their existence. So, our age is the only thing that is new here. But you have also taken a cue there by making a point just on that. She's been in politics, so she's not a neophyte. She's not a neophyte. She didn't just fall from nowhere. She's been a transport minister. She's been in parliament since 2015. If you take this trend, therefore, it's almost as if it is something that was bound to happen. And if you also look at the people that are going to be in the coalition government with her, there are two others that are younger than her there. There are two 32-year-olds, also female. There's another 34-year-old, another female, and the oldest among them is 55, a female also. So we are talking of a pack of very intelligent, highly successful, professionally inclined women leading a country that has already developed that culture, that has built that system over the years. The Finnish educational system and that of Norway, they rank as the best in the world. So what we would have expected is nothing less than a young woman of our stature coming up to become a prime minister.
All right. Wow. Quite interesting. Williams, you just smile. It's like all female group, go female, and this time it's like the age bracket seems to be on their side. If you take a look at some other climate, like, no, you're just too young to be a prime minister. What are your thoughts on this?
Yes, I was quite elated when I learned of the news of Sanna Marin of Finland becoming the new prime minister. Actually, I think fate also played a role in her ascension to this enviable office, because the leader of our party, the Social Democratic Party, in the person of INT'L, just took the reins of power sometime in April, during that historic vote where the Social Democratic Party won more seats than every other party. And then naturally they were supposed to produce the prime minister, and that was how INT'L became the prime minister. But he also, because the votes they had wasn't overwhelming enough, so he had to form a coalition government with other parties. But in that, in considering where they were headed, they had to exclude the Nationalist Finns Party, because those ones are more anti-refugee, anti-immigrant, and they don't really believe in global warming. It's so sad that a country as developed as Finland, you still have people who don't believe that global warming is taking a toll on humanity. And so they had to exclude the Nationalist Finns Party, which they narrowly beat from that coalition party. But then there was massive strikes. They were trying to review, there was a downward review of the wages that the postal workers were going to get. And actually one of the members in that coalition party, which is the center party, she wasn't too happy, in the person of Komomi. She wasn't happy with the way INT'L handled that protest, so she placed a vote of no confidence on him, so he had to resign. So that fate was what brought Sanna Marin to power. And I think she has been ready for a while. Like my co-discussant rightly put it, she was head of her district when she was just 27. And at 29, she was elected to parliament sometime in 2015. And fate has brought her to where she is today. It is good for every other country to do some introspection and ask themselves, why are they still not allowing young people to be at the helm of affairs? I know Nigeria at the time had a very young head of state in the person of Gowon, yes. But ever since then, we've not really had any young person. In fact, I think two countries I can really say that leaders of tomorrow that you talk about, you can't really see it, is Nigeria and America. It's only in America you find someone in power since 1970. Joe Biden has been he has been in Senate since it is only or thereabout, and he only left when he became Obama's vice president about 10 years ago. And in Nigeria, you don't even bother. At 30-something, you are still trying to grapple with your life, talk less of trying to lead the people. And I really do believe, because if you look at even our music sector today and you see what our young people are doing, they are taking over the world. Nigerian sound is global now. And I believe if those ideas are also brought into Nigerian politics and we allow sound young minds take over the reins of power, I believe Nigeria will also go global.
All right, now he used the word fate. Is it fate or preparation, or she was ready for this? Was her time?
Well, preparation and opportunity, they go together. Now, if you are not prepared and there's opportunity, you won't get it. If you are prepared and opportunity presents itself, you'll be elevated. So it is preparation that gave opportunity room to blossom. The case of Sanna Marin could it have happened if she was not prepared? So it wasn't accidental. I must agree closely with you here that she was prepared. And I gave an insight on that. From their upbringing, their educational system already prepares them for leadership positions. I think it was in 2000 and the one that happened in Utoya, the island of Utoya, the shooting of young people that went for a camp. Now this kind of incident takes us back. Why were those young people in that camp? It was a youth camp. anytime they are holiday, they will take them to camps. The most important aspect that is inculcated into those young people in the camp is leadership. They don't teach them how to follow. They teach them how to lead. They tell you to take responsibility. They tell you to be a better person. That every waking day, you should question your existence and ask at the end of the day, what have you contributed to humanity that day? So you find the young people waking up to ask themselves, how am I going to leave this world a better place than I met it? The young girl that is driving the climate change argument, Greta is just a school girl. She asked herself this question. She said, if the world is allowed to continue as it is now, we should have a future. That's what she started the argument. And the whole schools in Germany, in Holland, they all supported that to the point that on a particular day, they all refused to go to school.
In protest.
Good. Yeah. Now, what is the take here? Bring it back to our own part of the world. My co-discussant just mentioned now that when you are 30, you are still grappling,
yeah. He said
whether you are living. Yeah. It is not intentional. No, it is not intentional. It is our environment. Yakubu Gowon became the head of the military government after the 1967 coup. So the 66 coup, at the age of 29 or so. No, it's 27 or 27. He got married as head of state. At least there were stamps that were made to commemorate that event. So he entered there as a bachelor. And give or take, he had his own challenges, his own inadequacies. Yet, he made his impact. We have a problem of age in our part of the world. We equate age with wisdom and capacity. That is wrong. Yes, why I keep asking this question because I work with young people every day at school. I keep telling them that they are victims, that they are not the problem, that they are victims of our system. And people can say, what do you mean? I say, because have they been given this opportunity to really express and they have failed? Even if they fail, that's why it's called a learning curve. They should be given opportunity to try again and again. And to justify my position, the so-called elders, the wise ones that have led us, where have they led us to? Where are we today? Taking our minds back to 1960 to date, the only differential in age is Yakubu Gowon. Every other person has been above the age of 35, 35. Because even when Murtala Mohammed came in, he was just crossing 30, his 30s. So we are looking at people that are already close to middle age. We are not deviating from the discussion. We are not leaving Finland yet. Sure. But we must internalize the argument because charity begins at home. Whatever we are discussing about Sana Marin today is because she's 34 years old and she's a female. How many 34-year-old women in Nigeria already have their own identity fully developed, other than they could be housewives or mothers? Because that's the highest achievement most of them collect in this part of the world. The one that we attach to them is, oh, you have graduated now, when are you getting married? Or when are you having children? That's the only question. Who ask them, what have you made of yourself? What career line have you developed? Nobody is asking these questions. So the tag that most women want in our part of the world is, I am a married woman. That's not the height of achievement for them. Even when they have PhD, most of them become professors, we still want to ask, are you married? Do you have children? Those are the questions we always ask. And those are natural functions. We are talking of professional capacity. We are talking of intellectual development. We are talking of leadership skill that can drive a nation forward and make the world a better place therefrom. We are sitting here today discussing Sana Marin because she has broken a new record. New Zealand.
Jacinda Ardern.
Ardern is 39. Ardern is a mother, but she's still leading our country. So we have always had women in position of authority. It's not because she is becoming prime minister. That's not the issue. It's her age that we are looking at. Because Benazir Bhutto of Pakistan, female, Indira Gandhi of India, Aung San Suu Kyi that we just mentioned now of Myanmar, they are women. They've led their countries. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf of Liberia, that's a woman too. She has led their country. Thatcher, Theresa May, these are all women. So we are not making news that women are leading countries. That's not the point. The point is that this one is 34 years old. And I'm trying to ask myself, having 34 years old women in Nigeria, given opportunity to be themselves, can move on a straight line and achieve.
All right.
That's our challenge in this part of the world.
You get to hear another challenge. Well, I'll come back to you, sir, on that now. We have women leading the park in Finland. What is the hope of the men in politics in that country?
Well, I think the men are even happy.
Because when I feel like, what was really going on?
Yes, like the popular saying, we go what men can do, women can do better. And I think if those women didn't have the capacity, the men would not allow them to be where they are today, where they are now in a position of calling the shots in that country. It's very historic, having 5 women in a coalition government agreement, forging ahead. And usually a lot of people will say women can't stand themselves, but we are hoping that if 4 of them have been in that coalition and now there are 5, I believe they would find a way around it if they put their country first. So I don't think it's progress in Finland has anything to do with gender, because like my co-discussant had rightly put it, the educational system is very good, and irrespective of your gender, you are being trained to fit into leadership position. In fact, Sana Marine grew up in a same-sex home. Her mother is married to another woman, and she still went to school and turned out good. In fact, she's the first university graduate from her family, and she still turned out good because of the society they've been able to create for themselves. And it's not just today that women started holding prominent positions in Finland. It's been there for decades. Everything just bubbled to the surface this year. Those women have been there holding different key positions in government. But it just happened that at this time in history, the 5 of them are occupying a coalition government. And like a former prime minister of Finland rightly put it, he said he was very happy, even if it's not his party that is heading this coalition. In fact, his party is not even in the coalition, but he's very happy that today they've been able to break down that gender bias, that gender inequality is no longer there. If women can actually hold these key positions and the country is still forging on well, then he doesn't have any problem. He's very happy, he's elated with what is going on. And I believe it's an eye-opener to the world. I mean, we have a new Uniben VC now, Professor Salami, who just from the inception of our government, we've been seeing a lot of positive changes in Uniben. So women are very passionate people. They know exactly what they want. They know, they have feelings, they have empathy. I mean, you could even look at Jacinda Ardern of New Zealand, and the new policies she has brought into her government with gun reforms and all that. And that country has been steering in the right direction thus far. So I don't think gender has any role to really play, other than the fact that it's even for the benefits of it, because women bring a lot of their motherliness and the empathy which they embody into governance, and they are able to, when they are able to bring that to bear, everybody will enjoy their government.
All right, now let's go deep down into the cabinet, because we talk about party coalitions being formed, and one was shown the exit. Do you think that the government right now, led by this young lady, do you see it passing or surpassing the test of time? We talk about protests, talk about managing government, because it was due to the mismanagement, so to speak, right now, of governance that led to the resignation or a vote of no confidence on the former prime minister.
No, the case of anti-race is a case of a man who may have believed too much in his ability to direct the affairs of his state. The issue of protest is a common phenomenon in any democratic system. Protests must be recognized as the way people express their disaffection. They could have gone through their representatives in the parliament. If they wait till the next election to vote out the person, that may be too long in a day. So if a matter comes up at times, you take a decision and you act on it immediately. That's what happened to anti-arrest. And it was the Postal Workers Union particularly that went against his policy. Now, only someone who is bereft of ideas would make the same mistake that led to the fall of the predecessor. I don't want to believe that Sana Marie will make that same mistake. She was a transport minister in the government. She is aware of what led to the fall of anti-arrest. She will not play the same card. That's on the one side. Two, there are 5 of them now leading the government because they are from different parties, Social Democrats and the others, the Green Party and the rest. Now, the 5 women would definitely want to make a good showing, knowing full well that the world is watching them. You people are now in charge. It is easy to say, we thought women could do better. We have been given opportunity. Now, what have you done with the opportunity? You have wasted. They wouldn't want to waste that political currency. They will not want to waste it. So, obviously, they will look at where there were flaws and begin to address them immediately. That will also go to the next point I have to make quickly. And that next point has to do with the ability to understand what the populace wants. In the democratic system, when people protest, as is happening in France right now over the issue of pension reforms, Macron is going ahead with his plan. Macron has created one particularly trenchant mentality in France now, that whenever he says anything, he wants to get it done. Look at the Yellow Vest movement. They've been protesting since October last year. Macron refused to back down. Instead of addressing why they were protesting, is creating palliatives that did not actually stop
the protest.
Yes. He has now brought a new challenge. And this is happening because men conceive and use power different from women. The woman is okay, let's engage. Come, what is your grouse? So the motherliness that my colleagues mentioned would make the temper of a woman in addressing a political discourse different from that of a man. The man's position, which anti-arrest maintained, was to go headlong and confront. The woman may be more collaborative, be more engaging. Instead of being confrontational, she may choose, and which is what most women do, to be conciliatory. Let us discuss, let us engage, let us agree. So I want to believe strongly that Sana Marie and her fellow women in the cabinet that are driving this coalition government, they wouldn't want to burn this opportunity, this historic opportunity, because Finland is today the darling of the world again. They are a very quiet, well-developed country. Norway, Finland, Sweden. People hardly think of those countries, and those are countries that they've made great strides in development. And quickly, this issue of global warming, they are taking it very seriously.
Very seriously, yeah.
They are taking it very seriously because they know, because they are very close to the ice cap. They are, they are in another part of Europe. So they know the value of fresh water, the value of global warming, of the effect of global warming is already being felt in their area. So they wouldn't want to waste such opportunity. And they are going to deliberately, as I believe, which I know they will likely do, they are going to deliberately create a government that is very open. And openness in governance is the key to success.
All right. Openness in governance is the key to success. But the problem of this postal workers is still there. It hasn't been solved yet. What approach do you think Marie would take? Because, mind you, she is or was part of anti-arrest government. She's still there right now leading the park, and the problem is still there.
Well, I think she would find a way around it. You know, there's nothing like the man who's calling the shots. Anti-arrest, he had more leverage and was able to take more definitive routes as the head of that government during the time he was there. I believe she would want to take a different route, having been part of the mistake. She knows, or she's abreast with the different ways they've tried to address that issue. In fact, that's what led to the ouster of her predecessor, and the fact that the social and the healthcare bill they've been trying to pass through Parliament. I believe she also understands what the debacle has been, and she would know better how to go through the bottleneck and see how they can pass these reforms. So I believe the issue they would have had is if they had allowed the nationalist Finn party to be part of this coalition, because most nationalists, that's why I always have a problem with them.
The nationalists,
the Republican Party
because they have
in America,
the country at heart.
They claim to have the country at heart, but when you expect them to look after the country, you find them falling back, because
they're very conservative.
They are
very conservative.
They are conservative, but then in their conservativeness, it's like penny wise, pound foolish. Where you are trying to save money, you are saying that global warming is not a problem. In America, Donald Trump will claim it's a Chinese hoax. I mean, it's just something that the Chinese create so that American companies cannot go into more industrialization, so that they can outcompete American companies. But it's not true. In fact, one of his resources almost got swept away the last time there was a hurricane in Florida. And then people were like, you have always denied that global warming exists. So that nationalist Finns party, I believe they would have been the major issue that the Social Democratic Party, now led by Sanna Marin, would have had. So they were able to exclude them. Anti-Alliance did well by excluding them from this coalition party since April, and they've not been part of this coalition, because now there is this rotation in the EU governance, and it has gotten to Finland's turn. And now Finland is trying to leverage on its position as the head of the EU for now, to also see how they can bring this climate change reforms to a broader scale. Yes. So now, at least, they won't have that opposition from anybody, because they are all on the same page with that. So they are not planning on any radical policy change. So it's just this strike issue that they need to address. If there is a downward review in the wages of these postal workers, I believe they can sit down with the union and find a way to iron issues out. It's only in Nigeria you have unions, crying, and the government don't want to listen, and the government says we don't care.
No, they don't say they don't care.
Well, from the body language. Well, from the body language, you negotiate for months on ending.
Negotiating.
You negotiate for.
They don't care.
Sorry to step in here.
Yeah.
Our governments do not negotiate most times. They give you conditions upfront, and they give you limitations. That's not negotiation.
That's negotiation.
That's not negotiation.
Because both of you sat on
the government has taken a position. They are asking you take it or leave it.
All right, now let's go back to Finland.
Okay.
So that's
right.
So I believe if they can sit down with the union of the postal workers, they will be able to find a middle ground. Both parties can give concessions, and then a middle ground can be reached that would work for both parties, because I believe there is a reason why Anti-Alliance brought down their wages in the first place. And if the reason is not so cogent, she can do an upward review of those wages and see how that works out with the postal workers.
All right, now a party was excluded from the coalition. Do you think that in the future may cause a problem for this young lady?
No. It wouldn't cause a problem. You see, you should have asked, why was the Nationalist Film Party excluded? The Nationalist Film Party drives a different ideology. And the ideology that led, principally, the one I believe strongly led to that exclusion by Anti-Alliance is this issue of immigration and global warming. You see, these are very touchy issues. For us, we just think it's their problem. It is not their problem. It is going to be something that will come through the back door and sweep us off our feet if we are not careful. We are not even looking at those issues. And we see carry fire, we will cut down trees. We are not planting trees here. We just think it is normal. We see green, we say, don't worry, we'll have grass, we'll have trees, we have everything. We don't have time. There are countries today, they are saying plant a tree every day. At least it will have a salutary effect on the environment. We are complaining that Mantan refuses to come into Nigeria now because the border has been closed. What has border got to do with that? It is global warming that we are experiencing. Yes. But we are pretending it is the BDC that didn't give light. That is not the challenge. The challenge is that the environment is getting hotter and warmer. That's why we are having rains, flash floods everywhere. And we are not even putting in place structures. Part of what Atterres was trying to do was to conserve funds. You see, they always look at where can we take some money and keep. They are less futuristic. Yeah. The problem is when you are taking, let those you are taking from know. let them also agree. Even though they know, they should agree. You see, once they know they do not agree, you still have a problem. That's why I said they always negotiate. Do you know that it is here that we don't see unions are really active? In developed countries, unions pay you when you are not working. Because the unions have been taking check of this from you. And that's why when they go against their government, they stand their ground. Because they know that it is a make or break situation. Say, no, don't worry, we will stand our position. So there's always a basis for negotiation. Yeah, we don't negotiate, as I said before, but that's not the issue.
No, we negotiate.
No, we are giving conditions.
We do negotiate.
We are giving conditions. That's the one called the options choice, the devil or the deep blue sea. That's not negotiation anymore. That's a condition. so briefly,
a condition.
Briefly,
all right.
The problem of exclusion of the nationalist Finns
Yes.
was a necessity because Finland also drives gender balancing. They drive openness in governance. They also drive this idea that the world is a better place when we are more accommodating. So if they had allowed the Finns, the nationalist Finns to be part of it, there would have been too much differential in the governmental ideology.
All right, thank you. I'm getting a strong signal for the PD that our time is up. You're going to have the last bite on this. What advice do you have for other countries
Well,
globally?
I believe other countries can borrow a leaf from what Finland is doing right now. And in fact, Europe is really leading the charge here. Macron is very young. The Ukrainian president is just 41. Zelensky is just 41.
Even his prime minister is 35.
His prime minister is 35. Jacinda Ardern of New Zealand is 39. And now Sanna Marin is just 34. And she's the head of that coalition government there in Finland. So I believe that, and these countries are these persons are steering their countries in the right direction. It may be tough, but they are doing something about it. So I believe Nigeria, America, other countries who have very old leaders can learn a thing or two from Finland.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. I appreciate a wonderful analysis. You've heard them. Our time is up. We have had another bite on this, but we have other time to talk about other issues. 34-year-old Prime Minister Marin Sana, the youngest so far globally, and she's doing well. What have you got to say for your country? Talk about global issues right now, not only Nigeria, countries globally. Young people, it's time to rise up positively and take government as yours. Come out, contest, compete, get involved. You never can tell where it will take us. Bye for now.
This is ITV, certainly the best.